My name is Ofentse Baloyi, and welcome to another episode of Droppin Jewelz. Now, this is a show where we showcase our pioneers in their own respective fields and find out how they broke barriers in order to stay on top. Now, today's guest is no different, Bafiki. This is a guy who I really forget myself. He's not really old at all, but Ubaba Omswenko Lestrati. This is a true visionary, and I really admire how he redefines the landscape of creative entrepreneurship and street culture. Please help me to welcome Mr. Mpumelelo, aka Frypan, aka the Mayor Mfula. Njani bro wami? Mnandi bro wami. So how's the dating going? It's right.
Chilled. Bit of work, but it's a nice time. I mean, it's kumalo cheating, but we're still able to do this outdoors. So we're nice.
Right, excellent, bro. I mean, I'm really honored to be here with you. So let's get straight into it. They really don't know, like, they can't really pinpoint what exactly that you do, because like you wear a lot of hats. So for someone who might not know you or Osbuza, who can like, yeah, what would you say like you do?
Yo, man, it's like, see that question? I asked myself that question as well. It's like, I'm tune on because, like a few weeks ago, I was doing like an article about music for a UK-based publication. The following week, Mingchunan. But it's different. Every week is different. But Nami, like if as if it's like just being a kid in a playground, yabo. Uyadlala, magi rugby season uyadlala. Magi soccer season uyadlala, magi athletics season. Magi season namatopo, uda, maalu da. So no one can really say who you are in that way. But when now uyazazi ukuthi umuntu othanda ukudlala. Then you find amagama as you grow. There's words for what it is that you do. There's career points. I'd say I'm also like constantly in that space because now I'm always pinpointing what it is. Now my skills are high. But in like a career way, I know how to write. Yeah, I know how to write articles. I know how to research. I know how to host. Young Toil can do acting as well. There's many forms of expression. I'm a format, but essentially I figured out with what it is that I can do and the best way to explain it. And it's this simple. I'm a researcher. This is what I studied. This is who I am. I'm curious. So I do research. And I found ways of developing that skill of research. First, maybe it's from my first degree, second degree, to other ways I'm training myself, right? They say, yeah, with research, so yeah, sharp research, you have to translate. So translation comes in different formats. Shy video as you're doing, and within video, there's podcasting, there's a show element, there's real. So zipa my format. Sometimes it's just hosting to an audience. Sometimes it's acting it out, whether through a monologue or through a play, or a screenplay. So that's why it's hard to pinpoint. It's because if you're gonna look at it as trying to pinpoint a specific thing, you won't find it. But it all starts with research and translation of research, and it's normally through storytelling, and that's probably how you know me. Yeah.
So my first memory of you, like, I remember I was in high school, and there were like these smaller brands popping up, like Abu Creative Greens and Abu Viking Boots, and I used to go to school with these a few of these people that were selling these brands. And then I caught on to RHCT online where you could actually access one of my brands. So let's take it back, Colada. Like, what was the thought process, Maukala, in RHCT, and where was like the culture at the time?
So shit. So RHCC starts like 2012. I'm doing my fourth year in varsity. Studied politics, yeah. But at the same time, while I'm studying politics, I'm in the culture space, meaning I'm a brand ambassador to this brand. I work with that brand. But Silver City, that connected, bro. Yeah, my event in Koan. Yeah, but it's like you understand street culture because you're a participator and you're a fan, right? But at the same time, you study politics, so you understand what culture means to society as a whole, the development structure. You understand with lento le, how does the small thing that looks cool become a thing that can build a nation. You are connect and so on. So that was it. So RHCC becomes that acronym for returning home to create, and that's the resonance, returning to yourself, returning to basics. Let's create, yeah. Well, so originally, because I'm in the streets, sneaker culture at that time, because you asked me to where was street culture. Yeah, it's like that was like when sneakers became a prominent thing, like Sithole for Rama Jordans. You know, this is where the first queue ups would happen, run up at that time. Cape Town and Joburg. So this is a big deal. And I'm a queue up, now it's like raffles, right? Chama raffle match. But queue ups were a thing, like documentary, like Just for Kicks, was an American thing. And finally it was getting here. So because sneakers were a big thing, I wanted to have a sneaker store. But to have a sneaker store, yeah. So yeah, then Migcwele is just mainly mina nama local brand, not Sky. Become international. And to sell sneakers, you have to sell those sneakers, right? So you have to have an account with all the big brands. To have that, you must have a track record, business plan, blah 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 blah. I didn't have all of that, you know.
And which year was this?
This is 2012. So since I'm trying to figure out what's next, you know. But I'm just flirting with these ideas. So 2013, beginning like February, you know, because just before Nqaed, I was sending my CV to like companies trying to get a job in within marketing, anything communication based, yabo? Yeah, but yeah, like obviously, abanye to tabakashi. It takes time for those conversations to happen. If you like it, uzongena, yabo? And these are companies I worked with at some point. But that didn't work out. So you know what? Sneaker stores won't happen. I don't have a budget or means to put structure as a sneaker store because you need a couple of hundreds of thousands. Yabo? Then the work thing is not working out, it seems. And Mina, I thought I'm a hustler, you know? It's like you don't like not having money. So uzihlanganisa. So that's when the idea to say the online store space is growing. And I mean, I'm from a blogging background. That's how I used Blogspot was the shit then at the time. So Moshe Blogspot, another note is like Mo Blogspot, you have to create your own content. You have to shoot, edit, and write at the same time. Because blog, and if you take someone's information or video, it's frowned upon. That's like the era of, I don't do that. Because it sounds weird, copy and paste, you know? Do your own content, write up, you know? So it was that time, that whole resharing thing was not a thing. So through that, while I was still in varsity as a blogger, I learned how to shoot photography, videography, edit, and write, you know? But you're in the digital space, then you hear about this thing called online shopping. It's growing. Then I create a blog and information tab becomes an order form. That's where RHCC starts. That's the website for RHCC, which is the actual blog, but turns into an online store where you can just order, not buy. The following year, got on Shopify, then we made it happen. Yeah, bro? But that's the foundations of like RHTC with how it came about. It's like understanding how culture facilitates growth, being in the digital space as a blogger, um, then of course being young, not wanting to be broke, at the same time not getting enough opportunity. So Zozenze and how it came together because I'm in the culture space, I knew what was next at local brands. So it's like what is known as God, Megi Style Gang at that time, Bashama Tashiki t-shirts, ASAP Rocky, ASAP, you know, Abu ASAP, Basashama, the off-white with the extended tees. Yeah, they had their own version of that. That shit sold. Especially it was still print and like vintage shit then. So I had this brand called Ibaba Tunde. which was like just print based. You remember?
I remember the collab they got between
The
the
tubo.
Tubo
Yeah.
fellow caps.
So we had those like around that time, man. Now we stocked that. Go creative beings. I met them 2012 ritual stores. It was like some sneaker event and they were wearing stuffs up and I liked how they used print and I was like, are you into it? Do you want to sell? But yeah, we did it. They were still in high school, Sizwe, no chairs, you know? And that's the first three brands I started with. Yeah.
After that, I expanded and started doing like I'm a tours with RHCC and events and so like how does it now translate to furniture? Because one would think Uguchi, since you're doing um clothing and retail and basically distributing these brands, you think which would fall under another element of art, maybe say music or skateboarding, something like that. So if you are journey to the furniture part,
Well, so, like a year or two into RHCC, I realized this thing is not a profitable business. The numbers show with you. We're not really competing with the international brands because I'm a brand way too. They're not big, so they don't do things in mass. Um, so the profit margins to compete is not that big for all of us. So writing is not for us. It's not for profit, but it was for our development. Firstly mine and everyone involved as to learn how to create something and make a business out of it. Very sharp, and I was more invested in that. Honestly, yeah, well, so because I don't think I cared about profit as long as was share. But those I'm society. If I make enough with that, I can push this thing. So figuring out with okay, this is a development thing. We needed more to develop this thing because no one was willing to help, at least from a business point of view. Because yeah, I could profitable. Why would you invest in this thing that's, you know? Yeah. So we started doing our own structures because Papa, which I think, I was like young entrepreneurs. We have more young entrepreneurs or enterprising people more than we have probably people who work. It's a weird reality, but that's the thing. Or people with the potential over enterprising and do their own thing. So we started creating more of the things that nobody would would create. Starting a workshop in like 2015 called Let's Play Outside. It was just a concept. Then we did workshops of like the creative alternative to us doing something. Sashai three. It's like, we don't want to talk too much. And coming from that ground of politics, I knew with it can't be a talk shop. Though. But maybe it's kuluma, still to kuluma. Sorry, yeah, yeah, well, action. So 2015 we did Let's Play Outside um, workshops where we bring pioneers who took a creative alternative, so they didn't need a scholar or investment, and people resonate with that, right? And we did that on a couple of things like music, fashion, all the stuff like we're all into.
and then how did that work? Sorry to
Yeah,
how did that work in terms of like pushing RHCC forward?
it was just marketing to tell people this is what we stand for. Then if you resonate, then when you buy a t-shirt, you know what philosophy. Current shop I went buy, that's what we buy into your philosophy. If it's captured through your design, Nandi. So it's telling the youth that yo, it's none you fit. So when you buy something from this is the context. If you're buying from the store, this is what you're supporting. Then from there, we saw because we didn't expect that much. We'd have like what 200 people, you know. So I'm like, ebapaya labantu. And babuya fair, babuya valley, young tour, babuya east rand, west, north. It's crazy, all this combination. So we decided to, it's okay, we make sense of that. And babuya vala bantu love. Okay, sharp, let's do a advert straight after this for the momentum and bring everyone. So it's a storyline that builds up to everyone meeting at this place and playing together. Part of Let's Play Outside. It's like Kubegi Samaj. And so we do the advert, it's dope. We have the advert, it's like, oh, this shit is too dope just to put out. Just do a screening. So say I won't kill Amakas Lao, where these niggas are from. Shay pop up, shay screening at the same time. Hey, but so we sell, then the screening before we premiere, and it's still a build up towards the advert. Then it drops online. Drops online, shit, this thing. Now it's a thing, let's play outside. Like actually, since Miss Travula, that's like a tour. So let's invite more brands and go on an actual tour. Sayitebe. Got brands, hired a taxi, trailer, got brands, munye nomunye ngene faka stock sakhe. I think we pay like 2.5 for everything, transport and accommodation. Shared accommodation, by the way. But
team like Ninga Capital.
well, the team is me and the brands. So if you're the brand, Zwagala, you're the team.
Part of the team.
Yeah, because it's like that, you know. So it's Vasonke, Buki taxi, trailer, some student accommodation that becomes accommodation, you know, off season, December, so yeah, that's a país right there, man. We know people's pop-ups and parties, da da da. It's like a free, it's like your brand is giving you opportunity just to travel. So we do that, it becomes let's play outside tours. And so it grows. But all in all, it's like growing a community where we can develop ourselves. So the furniture thing becomes that must pop up as nama furniture, must come at food. Doesn't look good. So we decided to create our own furniture. You know, there's a collaboration between myself, Usanza, Nokom, Computer. We call it Let's Playground. It's like experimental stuff. Ngathi puzzle, put it together. Ungangena ngayo eteksini, ebhasini, angithola. Because nathi is practical. Sayicava life yomuntu mfethu oherezayo, oshaya pop-up.
It needs to be like user friendly and like maybe very easy to work with.
That's it. Set up within 3 minutes. Put it down within a fraction of that. It's mobile friendly. 1.5. It costs 1.5. I charge the space. Most rooming lakho, you still can use it as a display thing. So it's never not used. It doesn't take out space.
And then financially now, like
It's 1.5. We sold it for like 1.5. It's a giveaway. Abantu ababhaya babhayile, but those who didn't see it, and people still use it. I still see Mangyawama market. I still see our furniture. You know, so it's like there was a need for it, and we did. I push as I follow like on competitions at Decorex, and it won within DTI. DTI was a DTI space there for all the designs, and we won that competition. It was dope, you know. It's like a season in our life. But all in all, Motors Begalism, they connect to just democratizing access to entrepreneurship, you know. It's like, and also not to say, wamele uze kithi qala to get there. It's like, sizenzele nathi lezi zinto nawungazenzela angithola kasi lakho nempintshi zakho. That's how you grow things.
yeah, like yo, I really admire like how you don't depend like on external factors like I'm a corporate or stuff like that. Like you really like an advocate for which like even working with whatever you have, community or like a business you grow. So now, with regards to, let's take it back to where street culture is like today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it connects with that and here is like the mecca, like the street culture in SA. So like, why do you think that is? Like, what differentiates it compared to the street culture scene in Cape Town or the Vaal and other towns?
Well, I think it's a few things. Like the first one, is student capital by design. You know, there's Wits University, then Steeman Street probably has like about 3 colleges, if not a bit more. And so on. Then you have the residential spaces are probably like split like maybe 60 or more percent if dedicated to students. So by virtue of doing that, having varsity, you find Mone varsity, you can find youth from everywhere in the world, especially if it's a top varsity like UJ, Nivets. So you get the best from different communities, the best translators, the most artistic, and they grow up in that space and some stay. So after a couple of seasons, you pretty much by virtue of that have the best youthful translators probably in the continent or world. Young Then you get the the thinkers, all of that stuff. It works for the vibrance of that space. It's not by coincidence. And so on. Then also Gauteng, the most diverse province, and Johannesburg, the most diverse city. So meaning you get people from everywhere in the world or traveled everywhere in the world and come from different communities contributing. But that's an ingredient for some hybrid shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like it's no coincidence. I think diversity and having institutions that attract talent and nurture talent becomes an ingredient. It's not by I see it per se. You know, it's just I think those are the main ingredients for creating anything spectacular, especially culturally. All you have to do there is like the main stakeholders, like a landlord, the municipality, whatever board that's there. They need to make sure with you there's liberal space for people just to practice this thing. And if I'm a casa it could be dope, because Nasikas is like where we are, abantu ababhaya ababuyi abakhulela ngayi. It's different people, from different. So we need to have a creative space for that, and the cast it'll look different. It's not necessarily like in the finally corner shoots beer. Ngaba mapark and so like in they all come together a park. Intwana yaka park ba challenge. So if Tina after span, big my back and we search the firstly, we get positive interaction in the park after hours. Meaning ukuthi i-narrative yasepark yashintsha kusaseyindaba ukuthi a country park mfana. Da ngoba laphaya bayagwinyana. Siyacava ipark injani yaseKasi. But yeah, uyazi usavaya ipark. But if there's positive interactions, siyadlala sama-chance. Yaphuma challenge after span angisho. It becomes a positive thing. Banamalaiti, ufuna ukushaya ibhiya yakho ungashaya after match. But it's different from ukuhlala or ubemedayizini uphuza ibhiya from or other than playing sports. Udlala ushaya ibhiya yakho. It's different. You get what I mean? But ngiyangithola. Plus nani mase inhlanganiswa yini sport into positive. Anisabhekani uma uthi uba ngigcoke ini or uba ngidriver. So ukuthi manje sama-arts sithola i-chance ukugame on a neutral level, so that's what makes culture positive. If you take into this law and you just put like vibrant and positive interaction there, that's what happens in that corner. The corner here. It's not special. It's just active. That thing can happen anywhere out there. It's just communities have to be active. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Aye, that's amazing, bro. Aye, ngiyakuzwa yabo. So now, like you've been in the game for many, and as a someone who is like a problem solver and to identify and it's like it and which one like where can you move and how can you sustain yourself and the youth. Like what characteristics did you have or you need to have in order to fight for this long?
I just have to be like a fan and curious. Like when you're a fan, it's dope because you're just happy to be here, man. But abangakho abantu abashanga ama-interview. Interview kuphela nje. Ngizona asinoma ubani. And you gotta be a fan of that and like that. Besides being the attention on you, like being in the space, or when the people you grew up watching and you're like, shit, I'm really here with this person and I'm working with them, or I'm just in the presence. And so, because nakhona sinoma ubani sithola opportunity. So you gotta appreciate those moments. Sometimes you get jaded because of things that have nothing to do with the actual thing. Sometimes sometimes the shortcut and it just fucks up your love for what you're doing. But rest, come back and appreciate, be a fan again. And be curious, man. Things change. Uh, you get older, you get in and out of things. So what that means is that if you're curious, you're wazwuti, from one thing you go to the next thing, to the next thing. And you never want to be the man. Because therefore, if you're curious, you don't want to be like at the highest level. Like, yeah, it's nice to be the guy for one night or week. whatever project you're doing, but it's more, dog, and understanding that what we'll ultimately know throughout our lives is like minute, a very small part of a bigger world of knowledge and things to do and so on. So it's like you'll never reach the top. There's nothing like that. It's just ayikho linear and ukuthi phezulu or phansi. It's like circles in different ways. So I'm not end destination and just understanding that and knowing like every season is a new season. It's for new things. Um, yeah, just be curious and know Uti. There's more. There's always more, and it's neither better or worse. It's just more refreshing at every season. You know. That's for me. Those two things. The rest is operational.
So would you say like if curiosity is what drives your creative entrepreneurship?
Yeah, for sure. Because more curious, benefits of being curious is that you don't, or the idea is not to impose what you think you know about things. It's always like learning about what things are, and things surprise you. Then you find solutions that are maybe simple. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not that thing. A foreign investment in nani. Yes, it's part of it. But maybe if you learn and you go and you live with people, and then maybe you learn with isolution ila iphakathi. Maybe bona bayiboni ngoba they've lived with it for all their lives. Mara thatha umuntu ongaphandle ukuthi ababone ukuthi le nto ingasipana kanje. And that's the beauty about things. It's like they never are what they say they are to us and whatnot. But when you go in, you discover, oh shit, you're also part of the problem and solution. And when you start engaging, dog, there's amazing things that happen in the process. Njengamanje sisithola like in a weird space as a country, but the process of making things better is like where the value is. It's not about the end destination. Yabo. Maybe we went wrong at some point. That those things led us to where we are. But now we have to remind ourselves of those, come back, and the process of getting shit back to order is the value, you know? So, yeah, curiosity guides you to, okay, cool. Just be an optimist, ubheke ukuthi kwenzakalani. Don't be nervous, don't panic, some things, and just go in. And I think that's where it all starts. Isn't izinto azikho that complicated, but they need you to listen to yourself, listen to things around you, and listen to the reality of the things, not how you feel about it, just the reality. This is what it is. Yeah, it sounds nice, but it's hard. Yeah, but that's the idea. The reality is the reality. Uthi wena ekujabulisa or ekujabulisi, change, baba. It's just what it is. Learn from the reality and so on. Yeah.
All right, so here's a little scenario. Ne? I'm a little kid starting out, and ngifuna ukwenza into engiyenza yabo, but like in my own way. So like, how do I create an entity that has enough value to affect like the corporate and other financial institutions ukuthi bazongifunda without losing the core identity and the core value of the brand that I'm creating.
Cool. For me, it's like the idea of like getting to building something for corporate. It's not a good idea. Corporate buys into things that are valuable to society and things. So when you build for people, you don't build for investment. Investment is a result of successfully building for people. So build it abantu who are next to you because you know them best. If by 100 and you convert 10%, that's a good start. You know what? So it's about your immediate society. Your immediate society, how they interact with the product and feedback or lack of will inform how you now make that resonate with more people who are connected to the ikhula kanjalo. Yonke into is like logic, 1+1. Kanjalo kanjalo. Uyangithola? So, what? So, it's like, firstly, there's a saying, but see, the amount of the amount of your potential customers is the equivalent, or the amount of your potential customers or community is the also gives also indication of the amount of money you can have in your business. For instance, if you do something as simple and as needed that it can be used by 1 million people a day, that just says you can get maybe £5 from 1 million people on a daily at some point. So it's like it all starts with like doing it for your people and start with the small market and grow it. It's as simple as that. Meaning, if you want to be a designer, make enough to sell to 10 to 20 people. The rest is operational. Uzofunda as you go with how do you go from 10 to 50 to 100 to a. There's lessons at every stage, from production to design to how you market, but you have to start and start with small thing, and eventually that's going to bring the biggest investment. And by the way, the biggest investment you can ever have is your customer. Those are the biggest investors. Corporate investors, yeah, I don't think you'll need them, to be honest, and it comes in different ways. Sometimes they just marketing partners, but it's 10,000 or whatever you do, because that's what they do when you're big. You like pick up parts and nine. FNP will buy 1,000 pairs. That's investment, but you have to be big enough and grow towards being that big. And they're a good example. But you started with a sample of 100 sneakers that he tested the market with and grew at some point to what he is right now. You know what I mean? And all he showed was that he can be valuable to these people who want to identify themselves through shoes. And if we busy patu, shaka ngaphakathi, say no more. Feel like I'm wearing myself right now. And how many people feel like that? It's clear indication of his success. It started with 100 people. That's where he's at. And at the center of it is a lot of people feel like it. It's a feeling. Was guy. And we're buying into that. The feeling, then investments will come. But know that firstly, your biggest investor is your first, second, third customer that'll lead you to your 3 millionth or whatever customer eventually. I'm an investment as on in between that when you don't need them, to be honest, but they can help you. And when you don't need them, they will come.
Yeah, I never even Mpumelelo, like you've been dropping like throughout this whole conversation. Yeah, well, so like
The show is, right?
yeah. So like I'd like to know which like since you talk about and shit, like when am I influences work like abobani, like who do you follow? Like, one or who set the blueprint for you into leave a blueprint for yourself?
I can't point one. It's different people every season and different things every season. Because I have the privilege of being a researcher, so I learn from everything and we are connected to other things. One of the things I do is as Let's Play Outside, we've got this program where we develop like young storytellers, high school level. We teach them how to create content using cell phones, audio plugins, right? Create content, learn the basics, develop your own story, script, develop a whole script, and they mentored within that. Then they shoot it, they edit it themselves, then they screen it back to their classmates or schoolmates.
And this is like lower high school, higher high school.
This is grade 9, 10. Right? So to choose a subject, so they gotta make stories. They gotta make decisions now. Storytelling allows you to learn more about your world so you can make informed decisions. So through storytelling, they learn about the world and they're like, hey, maybe I'm from about that. But now with more information because they did content based on that. You get what I mean? So that idea comes from Gwenyilali bayibiza Ngqileni. Ngqileni eMthatha in Eastern Cape. Ngishaye around it at 2021. And one of the people I just became friends with was a radio host for a community radio station. Yabo? Angayitshela athi mfethu mawuye kusasa cela udlule nami ashap ayingishiyi inkalakatha yabo angiyibuza ukuthi manje ayingimazi yabo ngidale liyahlanya le ngivuke ngo-5 ngithola ngime ngaphandle la kokwawo mfana yabo
Yona iphuma ngobani uma ufika ngo?
isho i-morning show boma-6 something iphuma ngo-5 asho manje sengiyithayimile
Yeah.
ayi ngiyithola isazulula ngithi asahambi ayisiwalk mfana yabo uma-40 minutes asishanga inyama sifika lapho munye uronta mfana ungakanani this is one of the highest levels of the sport yabo enqeleni munye uronta ongakanani masingena la khona enye indawo inkampelo phakathi kwalo ronto the smaller room within you know mangithi basasazela la ngithi ngihlanganise 1+1 ngithole athi le zange ngifuna uku-invite ngoba ngibuye eJozi nabo ngikavi itudio nani yabo emayabo ukuthi ayile setup labo yeah lokuhlanganisa and maye kanje so so there's a mix ayicavi mix njani vele it's a 2-channel mix ayilawa amancane meaning you can put 2 mics only 2 mics and 2 headphones mic msasazi number 1 msasazi number 2 na mic bese bakushange aux cable connected to tablet kudlalwa ku music via Spotify offline sekudownloadiwe playlist ayidownloadiwe morning evening show wathi namashow ama-reggae yangithola lelo vibe that's connected to this box the transmitter box i-mix has connected to transmitter box transmitter box has connected to ngaphandle where there's a big aerial that broadcasts to 6,000 homes across neighboring lalis there yangithola kasilonke
And then power source like don't with all the
it's battery power. I think it's electric power da. But now maybe wrong. If it's not electric power, it's solar power. Cause la ba off grid vele la. Yangithola. So it's solar mfana. Umuntu ushayela ngesolar yakhe connected to maybe battery to i-wireless yakhe usiblomele ngaphandle. That's a regular thing, you know. So all of that. But my thing is this, dog. 6,000 households were interacting with this show via Facebook and WhatsApp, right? But it just took a mixer, transmitter box. This is old technology, real. So what that taught me is the power of minimal tools, maximum broadcasting. And I got an opportunity to get support for the same idea, but the support, that's it, it's limited to Johannesburg. So we took it to schools. So coming back to your question is, the inspiration is always like the research, about curiosity, and that one visit to a community radio station in rural South Africa, Eastern Cape, has benefited kids in Johannesburg, the biggest metro in the country, and taught them. You know, you never know where inspiration comes from. Yeah, you never know where it comes from, and you never know who it can help. So if you find yourself in like about Johannesburg or New York or whatever, you will find that what you know is actually from maybe the southern tip of the of some continent that you look down upon. But zonke izinto zavayisana. So you gotta be curious, and that's how I'm inspired, and that's how I learn. Could be big things, popular people, to the least popular.
That's really an inspiring story. Like, you still remember the name of the radio station?
Bulungula.
Bulungula.
Bulungula, yeah. Bulungula, I think maybe it's FM. Yeah, Bulungula, yeah, Bulungula. Yes, Bulungula. Because the river there, maybe it's Bulungula.
Oh, I shout out to Bilungula FM. I think we should kill it for the next episode. So now, without wasting any more time, Mr. Python, it's been an amazing episode. So, like, what's next for Python? Like, what can people expect in the future? Here's what. It's
I can tell you what I'm doing right now. Like what I'm learning. Maybe laser showing maybe in obvious ways. So in the past like 3 months I've done theater acting training, you know, at market theater. So check it out. Part-time and full-time, doing part-time. That's just to improve communication skills. Yeah, it's all about communication. So I told you I'm a researcher, but the research, gotta do the research justice, you know? So sometimes you gotta express it in a very skilled way. And so, because I tend to be monotone, like among interview, I'm relaxed now. But if I was on the other side, yeah, well, not even energy, sometimes lack of, you know, but it's a skill. Like you should with you know when to drop, you know when to be silent, you know when to take it up. It's timing, it's practice, like every other skill. So I'm doing that in order to improve comms. Also, if as someone who's in content, you know, I'm working towards being a better director. So I need to understand actors from different levels. You know, I need to understand the story, all in all, how it needs to be translated, all these nuances. So it's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, mainly. And the mayor's office show. The mayor's office show is still going on, it's still growing that. Those are the two main things, yabo? So yeah, that's kind of a sneak peek into what may happen. Namangazi ukuthi kuyenzakala kanjani, yabo?
Well, I guess some of viewers will just have to stay tuned to find out Uguti, Mr. Frypan, what he's gonna be doing next. So that's how we wrap up the show, guys. Thank you for tuning.
Hey, what is this? Like,
This is actually we're promoting a perfume brand. We just gave one to Mr. Frypan. I wish you guys could smell it through the camera. However, it's really smelling nice. This one has like more citrusy citrusy smells. Well, you got orange, and actually took that in me somehow, somewhere.
If you know how I smell like,
Smelling really fresh.
if you know how I smell like lately, this is it. This is it. Libra perfumes. Dope.
Perfume, guys. So we want to drop some information regarding liquor perfumes on how you can get it and the prices. However, with regards to Droppin Jewelz and Mpumelelo, please follow his social media pages. Please don't forget to watch the Mayor's Office on YouTube. And then bangakuthola kuphi with regards to social media.
Frypan Mfula everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. That new app that looks like Twitter. I don't know about it, but it's right.
We're gonna leave that one out. Okay, so as for me, Bafethu to Ofentse Baloyi, aka Blitz, thank you for checking out other episodes. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment under our show, guys. And stay tuned for the next episode. And that's how we wrap it up. Thank you.